Here's how you become so magnetic that women beg you to be with you long term. This video is now about manipulation, pickup lines, or any psychological tricks. It's not really about how to get woman. This is really about becoming the man that woman naturally wants to commit to long term. Kind of man that they never want to lose. And many men think that attraction is something that you do to a woman, but in reality, attraction is what woman can actually feel from a man. And only thing that woman can feel is what man has internally and mentally. And over the last 10 years of studying relationship and attraction dynamics, I went through massive amount of trial and error in my own life. And I've applied what works and what didn't work. And I tested the advices and both from the best and the worst sources online. And what I'm sharing with you right now is not a theory, it's a structure. So I'll talk about three essential points so that you can become magnetic that women beg you to be with you long term. So here's the first point. Self-identification as a magnetic and attractive man. And this is where most men fail. Most men fail because they focus on the external instead of internal. Instead of focusing on the internal self-identification as a man, you focus on the external things such as money, status, and looks, etc., etc. And I'm not saying that these external things don't matter, but the real thing that attracts women is the identifying yourself as an attractive and magnetic man. You think that what attracts women is money and status and looks and etc., etc. on the external things, but here's the truth. Women only want what other women want. This truth actually reminds us that woman's desire is not really based on the logical and physical value. Here's the key. And women only want what they can feel that they want, and women want what other women want. So if you just know how to trigger the emotion to make her want you, woman would rather be with you rather than the man that has logical value such as looks, money, status, etc., etc. The point here is that you need to find the core point that triggers her to want you genuinely on an emotional level. And you have to realize that female desire is not logical. Woman does not have any Excel spreadsheet to think logically whether she wants to be with you or not. Attraction is not a checklist. It's a felt sense. What actually drives the attraction is not how much value you can prove logically, but who you identify yourself as. Simply said, your identification as an attractive man is the only starting point of you being attractive and magnetic. So your self-identification as being attractive is the only point where you trigger her emotions. Your internal self-identification leaks through everything. Your voice, your eye contact, your posture, your emotional reactions. If you are trying to be attractive, women feel that. Because when you try to be attractive, that means that you do not identify yourself as attractive. And when you see yourself already as attractive, women also feel that too. This is why when two men with the same looks and money and status, they can get completely different results with women because one man identified himself as attractive and other man is trying to be attractive. So the point here is that you must identify yourself as attractive and magnetic, regardless of your looks, money, and status. Women don't chase men who are seeking approval. Magnetism is not something you convince, it's something you identify internally, and woman just feels it unconsciously. It really cannot be logically explained, but this is the power of self identification. And by the way, if you are an executive, entrepreneur, or high performing man who desires to find long term wife material, woman, and avoid the pain of past breakups, link is in the description. So here's the second point: emotional detachment from woman. As known as you're good with her and good without her. This is the point where attraction either dies or lives. The moment you're emotionally dependent on woman, attraction dies. Why is that? Because feminine nature is extremely sensitive to emotional dependency. Women can actually feel, almost like instantly, whether a man needs her emotionally or simply wants her. And the moment she feels like you have emotionally attached to her, she immediately loses attraction. And the best way to test if you're emotionally attached to her is to ask this question: how do I feel when she wants to leave me? Do you feel like you want to hold her and cry and like don't want to let her go? You're emotionally dependent on her. But do you feel like you will let her go gracefully because it is her choice? Then you're not emotionally dependent on her. So, you becoming emotionally detaching from her doesn't mean like being cold and distant or unavailable. I'm not saying that. Emotionally detachment means being emotionally complete without her. This means that you're good with her and good without her emotionally. So here's an example of man who is emotionally detached from a woman. He does not panic when woman pulls back. He does not over-explain or over-invest. He doesn't try to fix her. He doesn't lose his center when she is emotional. He remains calm, grounded, stable. And this emotional detachment from a woman is actually what the woman really wants. And this is what women paradoxically associate with safety and leadership and long-term potential. Emotional detachment is so crucial. This emotional detachment signals to her subconscious that you cannot be manipulated as men. And that means that you will not be manipulated by anything. And that's the point where she can actually feel that she can rely on you. And here's the question that you have to ask. So, how do I become emotionally detached from her? You're able to emotionally detach from her by realizing that you have the immense amount of importance on her, the importance on woman. And the reason why you have immense amount of importance on woman is because you subconsciously think and feel that the woman that you have in front of you is the only source of sex. And it comes from your scarcity mindset. That's why this is so important. That's why you need to declare yourself with the strong conviction that you have the abundance within and she is not the only source of sex and love. You have to declare this and drop the importance. This will allow you to be emotionally detached and become good with her and good without her. And here's the third point: internal abundance. Most men misunderstand what is mean to be abundant. They think that abundance means having many women or many options or consistent attention. Uh, this is just a result of your internal abundance Because physical reality that we can see with our eyes is just a result of our mental world. Physical world is just a result. Mental world is the cause, and the physical world is just an effect. It all starts from the mental point. And more important than an external abundance is the internal abundance. And true abundance is internal. And here's the key insight. The number of men who genuinely live with the abundance mindset is extremely small. And that's why even having the abundance mindset makes yourself rare. And you being the rare individual makes you valuable. Simply said, having an abundance mindset makes you already valuable. Something to think about. Let them marinate. Already having the abundance mindset itself makes you valuable. And the feeling of value is more important than logical value. As I told you before, women are attracted based on feelings, not logic. And to be able to cultivate the feeling of value is through the feeling of abundance. And to be able to cultivate the feeling of value is through your abundance mindset. And this is really not about showing your material abundance. It's not really about that. It's not about flexing money. It's not about status or lifestyle or anything like that. It is about the declaration that you have already abundance within yourself first, and that you're not emotionally attached to your material value. The key to abundance mindset is the emotional detachment from the external things. You're abundant with things and without things. A man who's emotionally attached to his money, status, or positions communicates scarcity. And even though he has a lot, he will still communicate scarcity. And the man who is detached from the things emotionally communicates abundance, even though he has less. And man with the internal abundance does not rush, does not cling, does not overvalue, does not fear walking away. Abundance creates optionality. Optionality creates selectiveness, and selectiveness creates value. And the man who lives in abundance, he chooses relationships. He doesn't chase them. And women instinctively know this. And women instinctively want to be chosen by men who can afford to choose. And this is why scarcity mindset repels and abundance attracts. So here's the conclusion. How does these 3 points work together? Identifying yourself as an attractive man creates magnetism. And emotional independence, emotional detachment creates emotional stability. And internal abundance creates long-term desire. And when these 3 things are present, woman doesn't only feel attraction, they seriously beg you to be with them long term. And this is when women stop asking, like, do I even like him or should I be with him? No. They'll start asking, how do I keep him? It's not because you manipulated them, it's because your internal state made her attracted to you first. Thank you.